Alright, hello everybody and welcome on back to some Minecraft Musings. It is Sunday. It is a happy day. Although, sorry, as I say that, no, it's anything but. We actually had to just lay down the law, the co-parent and I. But, um, actually, yeah, so sorry, it's not really a happy day at all. But, anyways, no, came up with a few focal points, a few points of concern and contingency. Uh, No, I don't know. It's Sunday. What do you want from me? It's like in Goodfellas with Joe Pesci's like talking about his mom's painting, and he's like, "I like this one." He's looking at it. He's like, "What? What do you want from me?" Like, it's just it's hilarious. But anyways, in the ways that people have evolved, no longer needing to stoop to such extremes, or feeling like they should get away with stuff. I mean, a lot of I love the movie Goodfellas, but just the way that a lot of it is, like, stealing or, being law enforcement for people that couldn't go to regular law enforcement. And, like, I kind of feel that too. It's like trying to keep the peace when there isn't. But I mean, I could do without all the theft and all of the pride killings. Like, I mean, like, if you could just like chill out for a little bit and just realize, your ego isn't worth someone's life, and if you're not going to be able to continue to do business with them, like, you make liabilities. Like, that's why all of those mobsters like kept going down, is because they were like whacking people, like, and again, a lot of that like isn't intentional. The stuff that would get you whacked or whatever, think about just the hardships that of living back then. Now, like, we have so many tools and so many resources to make life easier. So all around, I mean, I don't know. That's like drawing one thread away from the giant like explanation of how we fix society as a whole. It's not one simple solution. It's, well, first communication and understanding. And once you're able to properly communicate to everybody what needs to be communicated, like everything condensed down to bite-sized chunks so they can be remembered. Um, that's why I like these videos more in like half-hour segments, because even that feels like too long sometimes. Like, the last couple ones I did were a little short, because it's like, you get your point out and the rest is just, I mean, yeah, it can be relaxing. Like, I do this a lot, like, as I think throughout the day, just like relax and harvest some melons and trade, and then see what the wandering traders have. Oh, controller battery is low. Yeah, I don't know. And I like to do affirmations of gratitude just about every day. Now, I used to do them officially, like write them on paper. Just be like three things that I'm happy for, or three things that make my day better, like, or gratitude. Maybe I just said that, maybe not. But anyways, yeah, affirmations of gratitude. So like anything that you're thankful for. Like, I have both arms and both legs. Like, for a lot of people in this world, that's even a stretch. Like, most people think, oh, that's a given. Your body parts, woohoo. Like, no, and that's why I applaud and I cheer for all of the ability tech, like enabling people, screen readers and stuff. Even that's like, I mean, you can have like Snoop Dogg reading stuff now, and like, just about anyone, and Siri, and like how we're trying to shape AI to be more beneficial. We need to fix mobility when you don't have your hands so much, like when you're trying to use voice commands for computer usage. I just noticed there's someone that I worked with that yeah, had that issue, suffered a stroke and didn't have full control of his arms and his hands, and like, so he would basically bark out orders at his computer, but it just sounded so hostile. And but that was all he could muster. Like, I mean, that was his life. Like, he was like saying these commands, and you have to say them a certain way, otherwise, yeah, I don't know. But and just any way we could, and sorry, to fix that, I would say, like, all this research into attaching things to the brain to let the brain actually send signals through a computer. And once those signals are received into a computer program, you could basically recreate literally every last body part. In fact, that sounds like a fun challenge for teaching computer science. It's like, okay, kids, we're gonna replicate, or okay, folks, at whatever grade level, whatever. I mean, let's not get lost in the details, but okay, now you're gonna replicate an arm. All right, so, and this would be 3D modeling, so you'd have to be able to move through. Like, here we have the coordinates up in the top left. You can see that's now got the brown background, but so it's like X, Y, and Z, but not really, because it's X and Y, and it's actually backwards. So, like, you'll notice if we're pointing what is like south on the mini map, the teardrop moving down, we're actually going positive in the third coordinate. So this is why I say it's a little backwards. This should actually be going negative But it's wait a minute, wait a minute. Yeah, I feel like this should be positive 1597 or even 1600 positive because the origin is at the bottom left of this map. This is the original map or one of the four, I guess four corners of the origin. Pretty sure. Like to verify. Yep. See, as we move left, or sorry, yeah, left on the map or west, it's getting close to zero. Sorry, I had all these profound things, but I mean, oh no, I guess it is still profound. Like we're talking about ability text. So if you're trying to get brain signals, and not only are you intercepting brain signals from the brain, well, that's kind of creepy. You could send signals to the brain, but or actually no, sorry, that's not creepy at all because that actually is what has to happen to have a fully functional or a better functioning or part of functionality. Sorry, of I don't want to say bionic limbs, but prosthetic. There you go, fake or artificial. Artificial limbs or replacement limbs for people who have lost them, didn't grow them in the first place. Like whatever the case may be. You need to make it scalable to be like, well, if they're missing an arm for whatever reason, let's fix it. So, but yeah, and it's all about or receiving and sending signals. So then you can send back the signals to your brain, because there's this concept called phantom limbs. So for a certain period of time, and I want to say possibly forever, you might get these sensations that you're feeling your arm, even if you lost it in an accident or something, and like it's no longer really there, but your brain thinks it does, and it has like these in or these signals, I guess. So these synapses are firing, like your neurons and all that, blah blah blah. But like it's a signal, some data going into your head. And so if we can actually mimic the natural way that a brain receives signals from an arm, then we can also plug that into a machine and have it work in sync with the input and output of an actual robotic arm that's real in the physical world. And then logically, your brain will still get the correct signals, and even then, that could like do away with the phantom limb thing. Because I mean, the phantom limb situation seems like it could be like an unpredictable. It's just like a random happenstance of signals going to the brain that are just kind of left over from a no longer functioning part of the body. So. Um, I don't know, and we can still improve on a lot of that stuff. We're doing great. I mean, and even with like self-driving cars or just driving assisted cars, I would say that self-driving just sounds misleading because I don't think it's even legal to have like the autopilot on the whole trip yet. I mean, um, I was talking to somebody that knows Teslas pretty well, drove one for like a good 3 or 4 years, um, maybe more even. But anyways, not important. What it is important is that he told me that you can't really get away with just complete autopilot. Like it'll ask you for input every now and then. Like if your hands aren't on the steering wheel, like you can't just be like ghost riding the whip and sitting on the roof. Like even though people do it, in fact the Saudis are really good at it. They do this. There's a lot of videos out there that they'll like jump up and um, they'll even ride the car on two wheels. Sorry, I'm getting distracted, but living with Saudis all through college and like getting to know them really well. Like we got some good stories and some good insight on each other's cultures, and yeah, it was good stuff. So and that's what really needs to be happening, like intercultural diplomacy of assimilation and acceptance. Like I mean, I don't have to accept it for my own, although, granted, I would start talking like them, like I'd start getting the accent. And this is impressive, though. English is their second language. And so that's what gives me hope that we could build facilities along the border and teach people English coming into the country and further smooth over some hostilities between the two parties here about the quote unquote border crisis. So, yeah, it all kind of goes back to that. But no, seriously, like, I mean, they go to this English program, and I forget, I want to say it's like 2 years. They do the English program, and they're still doing work, I think, in like their native language, or I mean, they're still doing other things, but like they have a heavy focus on English, and they like power through basically 12 years of public school because you got first grade all the way through 12th grade, and every single grade has an English or some kind of language component or letters, and then I don't know why I keep chopping more, like I have no room. Anyways, and I need to fix this. So I meant to jump over there, do some more work on that, like the memorial. And it's not just the memorial. It's basically like a study of all the different dangers in the world and how we, or like here, you like problem solving? Here's a problem to solve: humanity. just solve all of humanity's problems. No big deal. And it all starts with a lot of the same things. I mean, the first step is to stop killing, like all of it across the board. Like, make it to where we can all sit down, communicate, figure things out, and be like one global government. Like the UN is a great start, and like you can tell, humanity's been trying to do that forever. And I don't know what we got to do to make the UN actually function as expected, because I feel like that's just a project that went way off the rails and isn't as effective as it was supposed to be. So, but I mean, we can start doing that by untangling the cords, because that's like all of the different problems, specifically the Middle East, but um, contributors from all over, us included, like the USA. So that's why it's so hard too, because I'm a huge. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a huge Biden supporter. Like I'm a huge Democrat supporter. I actually prefer Bernie, but uh, and Biden's sending all this money and weapons, and ugh, I don't even want to get into that. But we need to take accountability and just know that our country overall, not us individually. It's not like I'm out there wishing death on anyone, quite the opposite. And the majority of citizens are the same way. Like, we're not out there, like, chanting for death for people. Like, I mean, maybe right after 9/11. Sorry, my voice cracked a little bit there, but maybe right after 9/11, like, everybody's so riled up. But, like, on the average, if you actually got to know the people, like, if you had to talk to the people, like, oh, yeah, I lost my cousins in the Iraq War. They were just civilians wandering around trying to, live, and they got blown up or they got shot or whatever. The military came in and not saying that we would like execute like civilians and stuff, but I'm talking like collateral damage or like accidental. Um, what is that? It's kind of blowback, but it's more margins, yeah, collateral damage, breakage, as it's described in Breaking Bad. Like, oh, and when you start mixing the life factor in there, and which, granted, when I worked doing wind turbine blade production, we did kind of talk along those lines that like there could be death and injury, and a lot of the like there's a lot of terms that popped up like for insurance, like death and dismemberment insurance, and like it was still a lot of money, but then it's like, wait a minute, like you're talking about maybe losing an arm, a leg, or my life. Like, I mean, I need a job, but I don't need a job to the point where it's killing me. Like, what's the point in that? So. And they were very safe. Don't get me wrong, but like the nature of the work, dealing with these massive parts and these massive structures, it was just involved. So, and I was a crane operator too, so I was like one of the main people, and on the safety, the first aid, first response safety team. So I even had a green card on the back of my ID, so like I could flip it around, and once you saw that green flash, or even as you're walking, because we all had to have our IDs visible, you could see that like, oh, he's one of the medical people. So if like somebody like blacked out or got cut or whatever, I was supposed to be one of the first ones on the scene. And I didn't know jack about first aid. We did a class, but like that all goes out the window when something happens. So you gotta like be really good at centering yourself. Like be like, okay, calm back down, and like figure out what do we need. What are just the facts, like, and then get it figured out. Like leave emotion out of it. Leave hesitation. Well, I mean, certain point. Like you're not supposed to move them if they hurt their neck or if they possibly did, and uh, but I mean, as a first responder, your main duty is it's like security guards with cops. Like your main duty is to get on that radio and call somebody that can actually do something about it. And like, I mean, granted, you can still do a lot of stuff like section off the area, get people like one person's supposed to direct, and then like other people are supposed to take the jobs that are directed for them for that. So, um, yeah. Anyways, in a perfect world, that's not happening. We had very few accidents. Like we did pride ourselves on being a very safe crew overall. My shift was so, and all of them really. I mean, we kind of had our town halls. Anyways, sorry, we got way off on a tangent. Did you know you can donate money and this company will send Magic the Gathering cards to schools? That made me very excited, and that's why like I keep telling myself that no matter what my project is, I need to keep checking to see what's going on in the world and if it's already a thing. Because, quite frankly, it's already a thing a lot of the times, and this is no different. So I started. Wait, hold on. Yeah, like you're gonna hold on. So, anyways, I got really excited because Magic the Gathering cards were extremely cheap. Like for 20 bucks. Well, that's actually for like 20 bucks you can get like 1,000 cards. And like it's just insane to me because I grew up, having little bits in here and like we could only afford invest so much money into it. So, and I still had quite a bit. Don't get me wrong. Like I had a very nice collection. Like it was respectable. But let's see. Oh! Oh, I don't have any emeralds. Ah, and he's trampling. All right, maybe I'll fix that up. But there's a company that you can donate money to that they will. Let's see. Do I have any more? Yeah, let's take a couple and let's drop off some stuff. I almost need some more chests. Ah, I do need more chests. Okay, well, let's at least get the stuff in and kill him because he's trampling all over our melons. Look at him, just want and abandon or abandon want, whatever. There we go. They're like Bobert reading some Bible passage and there's wanton violence or wanton. It's good stuff. And as a Coloradoan, I apologize for Miss Bobert there. But I mean, there's a reason she got elected. Like she makes sense to a lot of people and like and the whole Republican Party. Like there are some good ideas over there, but at the same time I say that like more like good intentions. I mean, and if they saw the whole story on a macro level of like how the whole system's working together and all the pieces are working together, then they would understand a lot of the democratic policy and probably work across the aisle more so. Because I mean, in the long run, the bottom line is a lot better if you start employing things at the base. Like if you start with a solid, I mean, I feel like I shouldn't have to describe this to a country that's so based on the Freemasons. Like you need to have a solid foundation, and then you build off of it. Like and no, I'm not a Freemason. I wanted to once upon a time, but I had no idea how to even get into that. I had a buddy that says he did, but I don't know. I mean, I said a lot of things, mostly to impress people that I didn't really care about in the long run. So, anyways, why do I say all that? Just things to be aware of. But charities like this, like getting kids involved in a game like that, and then even as I say that, anyone who's been to jail or prison, because I've heard a lot of stories, a lot of times the predators will play Magic the Gathering, and that just it sucks. Cause like when I heard that, I was like, ah, really? Like you gotta go and ruin it? I mean, again, these are people, so even no matter how crazy or heinous or how much it angers you, the crime that was committed, it all needs to be. I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm all in the sense of we need to prevent it from ever happening in the first place. Same with murder. I mean, killing. Like, anyways, sorry, really depressing topics, but interesting if we could get some solutions out there that would prevent this. Like the majority of predators being religious types, like in the church, dealing with kids programs, like their exposure to kids is high, like, and their level of trust is high. I mean, I don't know. And then their level of shame from other relations outside of the church are shunned. Like, you have to like marry and date in the church and they have to be good, whatever. Depending on how devout or how strict each individual church is. Like you can't just say church anymore. I mean, as I was driving home today, like there was this church with this rainbow sign and it was like all are welcome means all. And so it was including LGBTQ and like all that stuff. So, in fact, I've heard about that before. I can't remember who was talking about that, but anyways, just like I think it was in response to a discussion about the Pope blessing all marriages. Ah, yeah, I got a lot of stuff and more stuff. See, I'm almost wondering if I can like clear out some stuff. I mean, I could trade. I like the it's just bubbling back behind me. I put those in so you could just kind of walk across if you haven't seen. Huh. I think one of them glitched. Oops. There we go. Let's see how much we can trade. That's okay. We need to get rid of some. Raise your prices on me. Although I do need to put in the. Um, I decided I want to put a giant aquarium above their heads. So I need to figure out the best way to do that. Um, Thinking glass blocks for the bottom layer. and I don't know, glass windows on the sides. I don't know. Anyways, because they're getting rained on a lot, and I know it's just like the game mechanics. It doesn't really matter in the long run. Like they're not gonna resent you for it, or maybe they will. Maybe that's why they raise the prices on it. Who knows? I would not put it past Minecraft to slip something like that in the code. Have it like, I mean, we had it in True Crime LA and True Crime New York City. Like whether you were a good cop or bad cop, the game reflected that, and the NPCs would start treating you differently based on that. So, or any of the Dark Souls games where you fail a quest line, you could have someone die, disappear, or get angry at you and start attacking you when they see you. Like, all sorts of things. So, let's see, what else did I have in my notes? Because that magic one was huge. Because okay, and sorry, I got off track there. We need to fix predatorial crimes, sex crimes all across the board, but especially against minors. And then that fixes the whole problem of like, well, they tend to play that in jail and prison, the people that do those crimes. It's like, I don't know. Although there's not a whole lot else for them to do. Like they're pretty protected. They can't really go out and about as much because people like to attack them. Like I mean, that's one of like the worst crimes to do. It's like that, then stealing, like sex crimes and then stealing. And murder is just kind of like, I mean, it's bad, but like there's a lot of ways that it could be justified and understood. Not to the point where it's like okay to go murder. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like I don't know. No, that's still bad as I say that. I don't know. But definitely as like a respect level, like of the pecking order, it goes like sex offenders against kids, then sex offenders, then thieves, and then everybody else. It's about equal footing. Like everybody keeps an eye on each other regardless, but I don't know. Anywho, wow, this one's really ridiculous. I think we'll skip this guy. I think some of that's like if he doesn't have a bed linked, so maybe I need to add some more beds over here so he can get some sleep, or they're missing. Well, I don't think that's it because I've added, or maybe it is actually. Now that I say that, I might need to put some more composters here because they go and they drop off their stuff every now and then. Like they'll compost what I give them. So let's see. I think I have some more just lying around. So, but anyways, and then charity too, like making it, allowing it even footing for schools to have clubs and organizations to where they can do Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, but Pokemon isn't as popular for like a game like that. Like, and at least it wasn't for me and just about everybody I knew back in the day. Like, we went through a Pokemon phase and then it like fizzled and like you can still get into it like playing the video games and stuff, but as far as the actual card game, I think a lot of people aren't really all enthusiastic about it. But Magic though, that can go on. And then Dungeons and Dragons and like clubs like that. But like, and I wonder if this place actually does that too, or might have a link to be like, and if you want to do D&D, oh, I feel like that's part of like a glitch. Like, so that's a pufferfish that keeps getting blown up off of the, and it might die, because I found a pufferfish, a dead one. Although you know what? Let's get this one, because it's been so rare that I've seen like a dead pufferfish. Yeah, see, it just, especially with the city texture pack, just looks different. All right, let's see, composters. We have these. There would really be. I'm gonna find like 30 of them. Maybe not today. Yeah. So we need slabs. Return the slab. An old courage cowardly dog. Eustace steals a slab. He's like, "What's it worth to you? What's your offer?" He's like, "Return the slab or suffer my wrath." And he's so greedy, trying to make a deal out of this. Like he doesn't realize that this is like some pharaoh. There we go. Yeah, and I see there's some green marks that they're being linked, but maybe that's what those ones needed to lower their prices. Because I noticed these are all filled up, and if that was the case, then there's a chance that this is already filled up. So, anyways, so that's cool. And I think once I get past, I need to get a car, and then trying to buy a house. or maybe another place. I don't know. Like northern Colorado is a pretty big area, and there's some pretty cheap places in some other non-conventional places. Like Timnath is up and growing, although I've heard some sketchy things about that. Loveland's, same thing. I don't know. You're gonna find it everywhere, but and all the more reason to fix things. Like give equality, like give equal opportunity and education to everyone. Oh, and that was the other thing that I took on my notes. Sorry, I didn't even look at my notes. Let's see, because the thing was one. Where are we at? Free early education app. So, and then some way of tracking progress against across multiple apps. The learning singularity. There you go. Because I was thinking of different words of like, what to call this. Like basically a learning, and for a lack of better word, a learning hub. But then I don't know. Unfortunately, hub has been kind of taken over with a certain other tool. So learning singularity makes sense too. Is like or the conglomeration or whatever the the foci center, whatever, learning center. But basically, a way to track progress across multiple applications or tools, and that like all it would need is like an integration from each one, and then you could say, oh well, they need to have like this high of a score off of either this app, or like an equivalent, and that way, every range of parent can either afford different learning things. And it's not even about like affordability as like the ease of actually using it, because I think um, I don't know, like paying for it. Well, let's see. So there are options that you can pay for out there, but there should be some free options or like donation based. Like if you feel like you want to donate, then you can donate, and then actually this is oh whoops, still got a bit of a drift here. Just carrying around a pufferfish. Hmm. And that's pretty good. Hmm. Actually, as I say that, or as I'm about to do that, okay, no, I do have some. Right. Because when there are wandering traders and I just want to buy out the lot, it's nice to have a few stacks of emeralds. But we're getting to the point where we can start making some. Actually, yeah, let's do that. What kind of large structure could I make? Oh, but anyways, so that way, because you could almost say it's like having your social media profile or stuff. But I mean, for kids, you don't want to really be introducing all that at that moment or that time. So just think of like a link tree of someone's accomplishments on X app, formerly known as Twitter. Like, I've seen, and for those that don't know, the link tree is like one link that sends you to like, it's almost like a landing page of sorts. And I got to figure this out because I want to do it for myself, but I want to figure out the best way to do it. Like, I think you can pay for like a hosting service to essentially host like a single page website for you. That's just um, like your electronic portfolio is what we used to call it. When we would make stuff looking for jobs after getting a computer science degree or a tech degree. So, anyways, but you could have it like Math Blaster, which was a game that I grew up playing, or there's Math Monster I saw, but it was something like 50 or 60 bucks for the year, and then it was a subscription. So like, if you forget to cancel it, then there's a chance that you could get overcharged, and if you stopped using it or whatever, they should have like an automatic cutoff if that's the thing, or like prompt people, because I feel like there's a lot of revenue that's generated by accidental um, subscriptions renewing. So, and even that could be seen as predatory, like not good business, like being tricky, misleading. Like the reason we have small fine print on just about every ad now is because you know it's a clash between marketing and how to sell a product and sell it well, and ethics. So is this legal, or should this be legal, or should this have like a label? And I don't know. And even that, labels have been kind of a little bit intense. California imposes this label for anything that contains like a carcinogen, I believe, or anything that causes cancer, which is good on paper, But then when you go to a place, you see just how many things. But then it's kind of scary because it's like, oh crud, like am I gonna get it working here? But I don't know. That's a whole nother argument and debate. Speaking of arguments and debates, I don't know if I said this in the Oasis, but that three-way discussion is coming to a close almost. Like the other two are bickering amongst themselves. They're in a peeing race right now, as Lynn or whatever from Bob's Burgers would say. But no, they insulted each other. Now they're like angry at each other. But they're both conservatives voting for Trump, excited for Trump. Um, but like we all kind of came to agreement on at least a couple of things. So not so much like the religious piece. Like I just made it known like I'm a skeptical Christian, more of a scientist, I'd say. Like, I'm not really completely sold on a lot of things in the holy books, and that goes for all of them. At the same time, being a good person shouldn't require that you actually attend church regularly. Like, you can still be a nice person. So, anyways, and then, yeah, then the decriminalization or even legalization of cannabis, and the one guy says all substances, and then if you think about it, DARE is drug abuse resistance education. Abuse, not use. So there's a distinction, and like I feel like that is the truth, is once the police get involved, it's when substance use has become a problem, or there's other problems and the substance use is now known. Because it's not a good thing. You shouldn't be out there doing those things. Like it is dangerous, it is unhealthy, but like to punish people the way that we do, it's actually causing more damage, more hardship, and ruining lives. Whereas if we want them to stop the behavior, and if we want the prison system to stop being such a revolving door of justice, and that's what we're finding out. Like it's not. People have been saying it forever since the 70s, but like just the same with climate change. Now people are starting to pay attention. So, anyways, that's my time. Ta ta for now. I will see you in the next one.